May 9, 1941. 0400 hours. North Atlantic, 400 miles south of Greenland. The sea is a black, heaving monster. Ice crusts the railings of U-110. Inside the pressure hull, the air is sour with diesel, sweat, and fear. Captain Lieutenant Fritz Julius Lemp stands in the control room, bloodshot eyes fixed on the periscope. He has just put 3 torpedoes into a British tanker. Flames light the horizon like a second sunrise. But something is wrong. The convoy escorts, destroyers, turned straight toward him the instant he fired. Not minutes later. Instantly. Lemp snarls at his orders. Hard left rudder. Take her deep. The boat tilts, men stagger, coffee cups smash. Depth gauges spin past 150 meters. 180. 200. The hull groans like a dying animal. Then the first depth charge hits. The world explodes. Lights burst. Men are thrown to the deck. A pipe ruptures, scalding steam hissing into faces. Another charge. Closer. The pressure hull buckles with a sound like God snapping a steel spine. Lemp knows they're finished. Surface. Blow all tanks. U-110 rockets upward, breaches the surface like a breaching whale, and wallows helpless in the swells. The crew scrambles topside, hands raised, half-naked, oil-smeared, vomiting seawater. British boarding parties from HMS Bulldog and HMS Broadway swing aboard with Thompsons leveled. They expect the Germans to scuttle. They don't. In the radio room, a young British lieutenant named David Baum steps over unconscious bodies and finds treasure no one dared dream of. An intact Enigma machine. Codebooks for the entire month of May. The current rotor settings written in pencil on a scrap of paper. Baum stuffs everything into a mail sack, heart hammering so hard he can barely breathe. Lemp, treading water 50 yards away, sees the British disappear below. He starts swimming back toward his boat, screaming in German to sink her. A burst from a Lewis gun stitches the water around him. He vanishes. No one ever finds the body. The mail sack reaches Bletchley Park 3 days later. The war has just changed forever. And the Germans never know. Cut to 1919. Versailles. A broken Germany signs the treaty that will poison the century. In Berlin, a quiet inventor named Arthur Scourbius founds a small company, Chiffrier Maschinenaktiengesellschaft. He has a product. A beautiful, terrible product. Enigma. It looks like a typewriter married a clock. Brass rotors click softly as they turn, each spin rewriting electricity into chaos. Scourbius believes he has built the perfect shield for commercial secrets. The German Navy buys the idea first. Then the Army. Then the party. By 1935, every U-boat, every Panzer division, every SS headquarters carries one. Admirals send their orders in 5-letter blocks. The Führer himself dictates messages that begin an Allah and end with his sacred signature. They call it Unbreakable. They tattoo the word into their arrogance. They are wrong. Warsaw, 1932. A cramped apartment above a shoe shop. 3 Polish mathematicians, Mariana Rajewski, Jerzy Rosicki, Henryk Zygalski, sit under a single lamp, surrounded by cigarette smoke and graph paper. They have been given an impossible task: break Enigma before Hitler marches. Rajewski discovers something the Germans never considered: laziness. Every operator begins his message with a 6-letter indicator, repeated twice. That tiny human flaw is a crack in the fortress. Using pure mathematics and hand-built machines they call bombs, the Poles read German traffic for 7 years. They read plans for the invasion of Czechoslovakia. They read the exact hour Hitler will strike Poland. Then, in July 1939, with the Wehrmacht already mobilizing, they drive to a forest outside Warsaw and hand 2 replica Enigma machines to stunned British and French officers. The Poles know they are about to be erased. They give away their miracle so it will live. 1 month later, the sky over Warsaw burns. The torch is passed. September 1939. Bletchley Park, 50 miles north of London. A red brick Victorian mansion surrounded by peacetime lawns and peacetime silence. Trucks unload the strangest army ever assembled. Chess champions. Egyptologists. A 17-year-old who lied about his age. Women who can solve the Times crossword in 4 minutes flat. They are told only, "You will shorten the war. You will never be allowed to tell anyone how." Alan Turing arrives on a bicycle, hair wild, shoes held together with string. He has read the Polish papers. He sees the next step. The diagonal board. The four-rotor problem. The statistical attack that treats language like a physical law. He invents machines that think faster than any human ever could. Bronze drums spin in perfect synchrony, searching for the one setting in 159 quintillion that turns gibberish into German. The first naval code, called Hydra, then Shark, is the hardest. U-boats change their codebooks every midnight. Every day is a new war. The Blitz. London burns every night. In Hut 6, the roof leaks when it rains. The Codebreakers work by hurricane lamps while bombs fall 2 counties away. They break the Luftwaffe code first. They watch Goring order his bombers to Coventry. They cannot warn the city. Warning Coventry would reveal the secret. 4,000 civilians die. The Codebreakers never forgive themselves. But the U-boats are the real terror. Britain has 6 weeks of grain left. Churchill stares at the Atlantic chart, red pins marking fresh graves. He demands the naval code. Turing promises nothing. He only works. March 1941. The first naval settings fall. The first convoy is rerouted at the last minute. The wolf pack finds empty ocean. Admiral Donitz, in his Paris headquarters, stares at the same empty ocean and feels the first cold finger on his neck. He writes in his war diary, "The enemy appears to possess a highly efficient intelligence service." He is half right. He just has no idea how efficient. May 9, 1941. The mail sack from U-110 lands on the desk of Alastair Denniston, head of Bletchley. Inside, the inner rotor settings for the entire month. The shortcut no bomb could ever have found alone. From that night on, the North Atlantic is no longer dark. It is lit by invisible searchlights only the British can see. Convoys slip through gaps the Germans never knew existed. U-boat aces vanish one by one. Kretschmer captured. Prien gone. Shepk crushed. Donitz rages, convenes inquiries, interrogates prisoners. Every report comes back the same. The enemy has better radar. The British are lucky. Enigma is secure. He believes the reports. He has to. The blackout. On February 1st, the Kriegsmarine introduces the fourth rotor. Overnight, Bletchley goes blind. 10 terrible months. U-boats slaughter ships off the American coast, torpedoes fired in sight of boardwalks and tourists. Bodies wash up on Virginia beaches. Churchill cables Roosevelt, "We are losing the war at sea." American bombs, bigger, faster, built by the thousands in a secret Ohio factory, begin to arrive. Still not enough. The Codebreakers work until they collapse. One woman is carried out unconscious after 72 hours without sleep. December 13, 1942. The new bombs find the first Shark setting. Light returns. The killing stops. 1943 becomes the year the hunters become the hunted. May 1943, Black May. 41 U-boats lost in 31 days. Donitz pulls the fleet back, white-faced. He has lost more men in 1 month than the Kaiser lost in 4 years of the Great War. He never once blames Enigma. The deception holds. The secret holds. The war rushes toward its climax, and the men who made it possible are sworn to silence for the rest of their lives. But that silence is still 3 years away. Right now, in the spring of 1943, the greatest invasion in history is being planned. And every move the Germans make, every division shifted, every minefield laid, every doubt in Hitler's mind, is already being read by lamplight in a freezing English hut. The final act is almost over. But the final act will be the most dangerous of all. Because secrets this big have a way of trying to escape. And if the Germans ever discover the truth, the entire house of cards collapses. June 5, 1944. 2100 hours. Southwick House, Portsmouth. Rain lashes the windows. Wind howls like the end of the world. Dwight Eisenhower stands over the map table, cigarette burning forgotten between his fingers. The room is thick with pipe smoke and dread. Every meteorologist in the Allied chain says tomorrow will be a disaster. Force 8 gales, low cloud, impossible seas. The invasion will drown before it reaches France. But one man steps forward, Group Captain James Stagg. He has seen a narrow ridge of clear weather sliding across the Atlantic, 24 hours of grace no one else believes in. Eisenhower stares at the ultra-summaries stacked beside the weather charts. He knows exactly where every German division is waiting. He knows Rommel is in Germany for his wife's birthday. He knows Hitler has forbidden any panzer movement without his personal order. He looks at his generals. Then he says the words that will echo forever. Okay, let's go. Across the channel, in a concrete bunker at Margeville, General Feld Marshal Erwin Rommel's chief of staff receives an Enigma message from Berlin. The Führer expects the decisive battle in the Pas-de-Calais sector. No major redeployments without express permission. The message is signed, Jodl. It is read, filed, obeyed. It is also already lying on a trestle table in Hut 3 at Bletchley Park, translated, annotated, and on its way to Eisenhower's desk before the German clerk has finished stamping it. The greatest deception in military history is working perfectly. And the Germans still have no idea they are dancing on strings. Cut to 1943. Bletchley Park. Hut 8. The American bombs, nicknamed Big Iron by the Wrens, clatter like 1,000 insane typewriters. The fourth rotor shark code has finally been tamed. The Atlantic is safe again. But now the codebreakers can look east. They begin reading the orders for Kursk, the greatest tank battle ever fought. They watch Hitler pour his last reserves into the meat grinder. They know before Stalin does that the offensive will fail. They read the panic after Stalingrad. They read the frantic pleas for fuel, ammunition, winter coats. They read the exact day the Afrika Korps will run out of petrol at El Alamein. Every time, the information is used with surgical care. Never too much. Never too obvious. A city can burn if it must. A convoy can be sacrificed. The goose must never cackle. April 1944. London. A Spanish farmer named Juan Pujol Garcia, codename Garbo, sends a radio message to his German handlers in Madrid. He is the Allies' star double agent. He has spent 3 years building absolute trust with the Abwehr. Tonight he tells them the invasion is coming. He tells them the exact date, June 5th. He tells them the main thrust will be Normandy. Then, 3 hours after the first landing craft hit the beaches, he sends a second message. My previous warning was premature. The real invasion is now imminent at Pas-de-Calais with Patton's 1st U.S. Army Group. The Germans believe the second message. They believe it because the first one was too late to act on. They believe it because Garbo has never been wrong before. They hold the 15th Army, 350,000 men, in the wrong place for 7 crucial weeks. The messages are written in Hut 3, approved by MI5, transmitted from a farmhouse in Hertfordshire, and read in Berlin before Hitler wakes up. All of it built on Enigma's betrayal. June 6, 1944. 0700 hours. Omaha Beach. The tide is red. The sand is littered with bodies and burning landing craft. A young lieutenant named John Spaulding crawls over the seawall and realizes the German strongpoint above him is empty. The defenders have been pulled north, on Hitler's direct order, because of Garbo's lie. Spaulding waves his men forward. They live because a lie, built on a broken code, moved an entire army. By nightfall the lodgment holds. By July, 1 million men are ashore. The road to Paris is open. And still, No German ever suspects the truth. December 16, 1944. The Ardennes. Snow falls thick and silent. Hitler launches his last gamble, Wacht am Rhein. He has forbidden all radio traffic. Landlines only. No Enigma chatter to betray him this time. Bletchley goes blind for the first time in 2 days. Then the German spearheads run into the 106th Infantry Division and annihilate 2 regiments. Bastogne is surrounded. For a moment, the old terror returns. But the silence is the giveaway. When the Germans stop talking, the traffic analysts at Bletchley know something big is happening. They pinpoint the breakthrough by the absence of messages. Eisenhower gets 48 hours warning instead of 48 minutes. Patton's Third Army pivots in 72 hours, a march that will go into legend. The bulge is contained. Hitler's last reserves are spent. The silence breaks him more surely than any decrypt ever could. March 1945. Remagen Bridge. A German officer receives an Enigma order to blow the Ludendorff Bridge the moment American troops appear. He sets the charges. He waits. American scouts reach the bridge at 1,600 hours. The plunger is pressed. Nothing happens. The primer cord was defective. The Americans pour across the Rhine on a bridge Hitler ordered destroyed. A fluke, they call it. Bletchley already knew the order had been sent. They simply never needed to use the knowledge. April 1945. The bunker beneath the Reich Chancellery. Hitler dictates his last messages. He orders Steiner to counterattack. He orders Wenck to relieve Berlin. He orders armies that no longer exist. Every fantasy is transmitted in Enigma. Every fantasy is read in Hut 3 before the ink is dry. On April 30th, he marries Eva Braun. He eats a quiet lunch. He shoots himself. The last Enigma message Bletchley ever translates is Admiral Donit's announcement to the German people. Our Führer, Adolf Hitler, has fallen. The Codebreakers listen to the click of the rotor's one-time pad burning in the stove. They do not cheer. They are too tired. They are too haunted by the cities they could not warn. They are too aware of the millions who died anyway. May 8, 1945. Victory in Europe. In London, the pubs overflow. Churchill waves from the balcony. At Bletchley Park, the huts are already being emptied. Bombs dismantled. Files burned in 55-gallon drums. The women who ran the machines are told to go home and never speak of what they did. Many never do. Alan Turing returns to Cambridge. He will be arrested for homosexuality in 1952. He will die 2 years later, cyanide in an apple beside his bed. The Poles, Rajewski, Rosicki, Zygalski, are refused British citizenship. They go home to a Soviet-dominated Poland and are watched by the secret police for the rest of their lives. Gordon Welchman emigrates to America and is stripped of his security clearance for writing a book that revealed too little. Tommy Flowers, who built Colossus, the world's first programmable digital computer to crack the Lorenz cipher, is told his work is still classified. He dies believing he failed. The secret holds for 30 years. Group Captain Frederick Winterbotham publishes the ultra-secret. The world finally learns. Donitz, in his prison cell at Spandau years earlier, reads the headlines and whispers. So that was it. He dies never understanding how completely he was beaten by ghosts. Today, one Enigma machine sits in a glass case at Bletchley. Its rotors are frozen. Its lamps are dark. It looks harmless. Almost quaint. But for 6 years it was the nervous system of the Third Reich. And for 6 years, a few thousand exhausted, brilliant, ordinary people reached inside that nervous system and turned it against itself. They never fired a shot. They never wore a uniform. They never told their families what they did. They simply sat in cold huts, under blackout curtains, and read the mind of the enemy. They shortened the war by at least 2 years. They saved, conservatively, 14 million lives. And the Germans never knew. Not once. Not until it was far too late. The silence was perfect. The silence was the victory.